Three huge bombshells just came out of the Kari Lake election challenge trial, and that was all just on day one. We're going to take a look at those three stunning revelations and find out what really happened on election day in Maricopa County. Let's just say it ain't good news for the corrupt Katie Hobbs. You're not going to want to miss this. Day one of the Kari Lake election trial has officially been completed, and it was absolute fire. Now, as a reminder, there are two counts that Kari has to prove in court. First, Kari has to show that the ballot-on-demand printer malfunctions were intentional and directed to affect the results of the election, that such actions did actually affect the outcome. And second, that chain of custody rules for ballots were breached and therefore resulted in invalid votes. And if you're not familiar with how the chain of custody works, the lawyer Robert Barnes makes a very helpful analogy of evidence tampering in the legal sphere. So the way you guard against evidence tampering is by accounting objectively for every place the evidence has been throughout the judicial process. So there's an accounting and verification process when the evidence is received. There's an accounting and verification process for where the evidence is taken, where it's stored, who has access to it. At any point, if that evidence falls out of that chain of custody, if clear accounting and verification of the chain of custody is broken at any point, that evidence is now inadmissible. Not because there was evidence tampering, but there could have been. And so in a similar manner, Kari's trying to prove in court that at some point a significant number of ballots fell outside the objectively verifiable chain of custody, and therefore they could have been tampered with, and that renders them invalid, effectively illegal votes. And that leads us to the first bombshell to come out of the trial. It involves a fellow by the name of Stephen Richer, who's the vote recorder for Maricopa County. Richer admitted under oath that Maricopa County did not count mail-in ballots at vote centers where they were originally dropped off as required by Arizona law.
And so you reported then on, I believe it was the 9th, that's the day after the election, that there were 270,000 early ballots received. Is that correct?
That was my estimate at the time.
Oh, you tweeted it, correct?
If you say so.
And then you said that again in the afternoon on the press conference. Is that correct?
I said I believe there were at least 275,000 early ballots dropped off on election day.
All right. And was that the same number you reported to the Secretary of State's office on that day?
I do not report to the Secretary of State's office. That's handled by the tabulation side.
Okay, and that would be the Maricopa County report?
I am the Maricopa County recorder. No, that would be the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors.
All right, so they count the ballots when they
No.
come in. All I want to know is, does anybody know when those ballots leave the polling centers, the voting centers, how many are in the bins?
When the ballots leave, the early ballots leave the voting centers, no, they are not counted at the voting centers.
So nobody knows how many are in the bins when they arrive at MCTech, correct?
Correct.
But according to your testimony, they contain documents that tell you how many are in the bins?
No, they contain chain of custody documents.
And it's your testimony that you count them at MCTech?
Correct.
Boom, there you got it. Maricopa County officials have a count of all ballots at the processing center, but not at the original locations where the ballots were dropped off. So the key here, it's very fascinating, is that between transporting ballots from location A, where they're originally dropped off, to location B, where they're counted, there is no actual chain of custody record. We have an accurate count of the ballots at location B, but these were ballots that were not counted at location A, and so there's no objective verification for determining whether the amount of ballots at location A is the exact same at location B. In other words, the number of ballots could have been tampered with during their transportation from place A to place B. So Kari Lake's lawyers hit the ground running, showing that the chain of custody was indeed broken for hundreds of thousands of ballots. The second huge bombshell to come out of the trial is that many of the election day ballots were indeed tampered with, and this has to do with the size discrepancies of the ballots. So in their examination of the ballots, Kari Lake's legal team found that 48 of the 113 ballots they examined were 19-inch ballots printed on 20-inch paper, which caused them to be rejected by the vote tabulator. An expert witness who examined the defective ballots was asked his assessment as to whether such a size discrepancy could have been an honest mistake.
Use that laptop should be used.
Is there any way, in your opinion, for a 19-inch ballot image to be projected on a 20-inch ballot by accident?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because the settings and the configurations and the procedures that are used cannot allow that. These are not a bump up against the printer and the settings change. There are security configurations. I've reviewed the evidence, and the printers are configured via script, which by any large organization that has to do multiple systems is a standard. This takes away the human error of somebody miscoding in the instructions either on the printer.
So here's the result of that intentional tampering. Here's how a 19-inch ballot printed out on 20-inch paper gets treated by tabulators.
Which one's been working better? Which one's working better?
Yours is better. That's right.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm not disgusting,
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, doesn't like it already.
Oh.
Keep pushing, it'll grab it. Yeah.
Nope.
Can I come over here now?
Sure.
It's never going to go through, is it?
His just did. Try and print it.
Oh, really? It didn't work here and it did there?
No, it worked here the first time.
Probably voted for the wrong person.
Oh, no. That's not the right way. You can put it in here, it'll be counted tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can't do filming in here.
So as Kari Lake herself tweeted out, this size discrepancy, which according to expert testimony had to be deliberate, the size discrepancy is why the tabulators rejected the ballots and why so much chaos ensued on Election Day when a mass number of Kari Lake's voters came out to vote. But the biggest bombshell is yet to come, the bombshell of bombshells, and that's the one we've all been waiting for. But first, gang, it is Christmas time, and what could possibly make a better gift for your loved ones than a warm, soft, comfortable My Pillow product from the one and only Mike Lindell? And the best part is you're going to save nearly 70% if you use my special promo code Turley. Promo code Turley will get you the same discount on all of Mike's nearly 200 My Pillow products. So, for example, if you get the classic My Pillow, which is normally $69.98, if you use promo code Turley, that's when Christmas magic happens. $69.98 turns into $19.98, and that applies to over 200 products in their catalog. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Give the gift of comfort and warmth to your loved ones. Support one of America's most amazing patriots, Mike Lindell, and get the best savings ever. Click on that link below right now.
You have no personal knowledge as to whether these printing errors changed the outcome of the election, correct?
I would say, there's only 17,000 roughly votes separating the two candidates for governor. Based on what I saw on Election Day, I would say there's no question in my mind that had there not been tabulator issues at 132 vote centers, this election would have ended up with Kari Lake winning.
That was RNC attorney Mark Sonnenklar. I'm not sure quite how to pronounce his name, but he testified based on what he saw that if there were not the 132 election center voting issues, Kari Lake would have been the winner. In other words, these irregularities that caused so much chaos were what's called outcome determinative. And for the judge, that is absolutely essential for the Kari Lake team to prove. In other words, if this is just all about election, irregularities and technicalities that weren't followed and improprieties or whatever, it doesn't, and if it doesn't change the outcome of the election, then the judge is going to be like, stop wasting our time, all right? Yeah, there were shenanigans, but they didn't affect the outcome of the election. So this is why I'm calling this the bombshell of bombshells. This kind of testimony from the RNC attorney, it's all part of the confirmation that these shenanigans were outcome determinative. They inordinately impacted the results of the election, and therefore the election should be invalidated by the court. And this is all being revealed just on day one of the trial. I can't wait to see what comes next. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Don Lemon having another hissy fit on live television. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.